but I do think the Sombra could be a thing, even here on Sanctum.
True.
But no.
But no.
But no.
And
but
once
no.
again, the age-old mantra has come true where you don't trust the spawns.
Yeah, you know, sometimes spawns are going to lie, but sometimes it is more times you might think. But we're going to get into it here. WGS versus O2 Blast. And already, O2 Blast actually not going super far up here just yet, and both teams actually filling each other out.
Both teams just looking for this early contest, looking for a chance to get a cooldowns out, get to build the energy for their Zarya. As you see, that bubble was used for Spear to take some damage. And neither team wants to overcommit here on the pillars before the point is open.
So WGS and O2 Blast are just kind of ignoring the point.
Very slow mid.
Yeah, this is no team wants to be the first to engage. WGS finally says, all right, I guess we'll be the first ones to move on forward. And O2 says, okay, we're just going to back out and now perhaps rotate a little bit over to the point. Both teams now starting to remember that there is, in fact, an objective in the game.
I mean, both teams remembering, bro. They're moving towards this. Now WGS with more of the point pressure right now.
And Villainy getting very, very low here to start things out. You see Villainy, Krong, and Proper getting quite a bit of damage. WGS holding strong near the point. But neither team, again, putting too much point presence on here just yet. But now finally, both teams got to fight on the point. O2 Blast going to move in. It's going to be Hyun coming in with the Transcendence. Proper, Graviton in right after. And WGS, nothing they can do here. They're going to lose 3 immediately after.
That was an extremely early transfer, O2 Blast, and it's incredible that they still were able to find that value despite trading the Transcendence out with Darrow as well. O2 picking up the first mid. You see Proper chasing aggressively. A very early grab as well from Proper.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to build it quickly. So the eternal fight here where, you know, it took a long time for one team to get control. Finally won by O2 Blast, but still time for WGS to come back in with ult of their own.
Yeah, I see O2 holding the doors. Self bubble going to be used for Sven. Going to be backing up. There's the grab. Out on the door.
Barrier going to be coming out here from both sides. WGS trying to hold up the door. Primal Rage, a spear. Just knocking heads here with Villainy. Both Primals out. Disruption on both ends, but so far both teams still up to a full 6 grab. Eden on the other side. Proper losing his grab. WGS doing pretty well here and breaking out.
Flora doing great work for WGS. Eating the grab. Putting the bomb in a spot on that pillars to deny the space. Split O2, and what looked like to be an overall better engagement for O2. After the grab was out, they survive. They get the barrier out of Chorong. They, I really just Flora just coming up clutch.
Very much so, and WGS still a decent amount in the climb here. 11% to 46, O2. The time certainly on their side. You can see WGS take the fight aggressively here, just dive on in, let D.Va lead the way, and push O2 Blast out, where a little bit risky to be that aggressive, but for now, it's bought them time.
It has. Not the most effective rally, but time is still an important resource here on control. In particular, as you see the engage come back in again for O2.
Yeah, O2 just going to take the fight right back over. Both teams Transcendence in reserve. I don't think either is too eager to burn it. That Graviton at least being neutralized. And a lot of pressure going on here to WGS. You can see the Graviton out here from Sven trying to ease that down. Just man, he's going to fall. Falling, the Graviton, or the Transcendence not able to get to him quite in the nick of time. It's 6-on-5 now for O2 Blast, and Myeon just gonna get knocked out by Chorong there.
And that the back line for WGS have completely opened up this point. You see Flora dropping another bomb. Mandu gonna be picking up Darrow, but Spear just getting these frags. This should be the cleanup here for WGS. That was extremely important frags for WGS's backline. Darrow and Chorong just combining to win the fight.
Well, most importantly here as well, now they're ahead in progress, and O2 Blast, I mean, it's not as if they didn't invest key resources into it. So getting back into the game here actually going to be more difficult than expected.
Especially with no grab up for Proper. This is, time's ticking. And Chorong has that beat. Vulture close to the rally. So a lot of sustain on the field for WGS.
You see Villainy here move on in. Early stun moving in. Primal though. Shrugging off and Spear off the map in some form or fashion. So O2 Blast already working at 2-man advantage.
I mean, that's the fight.
Yeah, it's going to be O2 Blast quickly moving and retaking here. WGS, I guess, is going to be looking for a bit of delay, but I'm not sure how much they're going to get in the end. I guess I'll top it off to 99%, which is the goal.
Yeah, they did get it to 99. But that was a great engage for O2. Mandu and Villainy just combining there. I mean, environmental kills, especially in a map like Sanctum where there's a lot of places to get them. They can open up the fight. They also got the beat and the rally out of WGS. So this is a huge fight win for O2 considering they have the grab, they have bomb.
They are all set. Proper holding on to the grab. WGS and look for a way in here. Proper holding back. Pelican off the map. Chorong able to get the early pickoff, and now Proper invested grab a little bit later, but it's Window 2 Blast is down members. So the early boop really setting the stage here, this fight, and now WGS threatening the retake, and O2 Blast, it's over if they don't come back in, so they have to burn Transcendence. They have to fight even while down members.
And Sven's gonna have grab. Sure, they'll still have Mandu's beat, but there's the beat, or the grab, I should say. There's the frags. The beat still not out. Oh, Mandu dies. He dies to Sven's grab.
Yeah, WGS have already retaken O2 right now, just desperately hoping for a miracle, but I don't think that's going to be happening here. WGS is cleaning up. And give me WGS taking round number 1 here in Sanctum.
That was a really, really good. I mean, O2 Blast, their counter engage was great, but Sven holding onto that grab and the early force trance that they were able to get out O2 Blast means that the grab comes out late. Mandu dies before he can even get the beat off, and just a fight win. So right there, WGS just having the much better engages, the much better counter engages, holding the point for longer, because whenever you hold the point, the time works in your favor, the amount of fights works in your favor, you can just get resources, get better fights.
And they did have to fight their way back as well. I mean, you think back, O2 Blast did start with a good 46% advantage, but once WGS got back in, they were able to maintain control for the most part. Now, of course, we're going to be swapping up stage of battle, and now things are a little bit more open. It's going to be Flora heading over to the Sombra.
And Flora has been on the Sombra before. Done some work before here as well. You see both teams rolling out here onto the high ground. O2 recognizing the Sombra play, and look how much that they're locking out this high ground, and they catch Flora with the bash.
The bash comes up, just gets displaced into the air, and the fall through there before Flora can translocate away. And that's going to be a nice bonus here, the O2 Blast, that potentially could just translate this into an early cap.
O2 Blast definitely recognizing their advantage there, because when you're running 3-3 into the Sombra play, you can control space much easier. And that's exactly what they do, is they're completely locking out WGS. They're trying to get the cap, but here comes Flora with the contest. He's forced to translocate, and O2 now gets a flip.
And I mean, for Flora at the very least, it's a decent amount of EMP building going up, but O2 Blast, for now, just locking out WGS Armament.
I mean, still not that much. Flora's only still at 50% now. And look at this cap time.
And what we've been seeing here is that Krong has just been all over him at all moments here. Anytime Flora's trying to build, it's a diva in his face. It's limiting how quickly he can build the EMP.
So that is going to be the DMAC onto Krong, who is going for the contest. Now WGS on point. They're getting close to that EMP, but Villainy has the shatter.
And that's why he's letting his shield get beaten up a little bit here. He's still desperately looking for the shatter opportunity and just turns a corner, looks for the Zarya. It's a good turn to the left. See if they're going to fish up. Meanwhile, Myun falling on the other side. WGS slowly starting to crack this wide open, and more importantly, they're doing it without, well, nope, they used EMP. So EMP was invested, Transcendence was investment. They've used pretty much everything.
They used a lot of resources there, but that was the fight to use them. Because if there was pretty much no way that they'd be able to win the fight if Sven was down from that shatter. It was a 6-man EMP. Really, I think the only unfortunate part for WGS was Darrow having to invest the trance. So now O2 going to be moving back in. They're going to be close to the combo. Proper does have that grab. And Flora just needs to be working on building an EMP.
And now WGS, the goal is get Ultimate Economy in a better spot. Try to not take fights until EMP is up, but Flora only at 38% right now. And O2 Blast looking very ready.
Look at this flanker spear. Oh my god, I thought he was going to drop the shatter.
I thought he was mid-shatter as well. It's like, well, not quite. Meanwhile, though, O2 Blast, they have engaged. Vulture out. Pin gonna be coming out here from Spear. They were already down. Spear falling, and O2 Blast, do what you need to do against the Sombra comp. Take the fight directly to them.
I mean, they know they can get a great grab as well, because not only did they see that Darrow used Transcendence, but while Flora is on Sombra, there's no diva to eat your grab. Walk forward, set up the early engage, set up the grab, clean it up. And that was exactly what they did. Only having to use the grab, use the rally. So WGS looking to re-enter here. They do have EMP again, and along with many other ults, along with another 5.
Yeah, so WGS might be down in progress here, but as long as Flora is able to run an EMP or get a good EMP, should be the fight they need. They use the EMP to immediately isolate Villainy. Transcendence, not in time to save him. It's time for the EMP, but you have to move over to the Rhine quickly because people just focus down the Reinhardt immediately. WGS continuing to go forward.
Continue to go forward here, clean up here on the point. That was a great EMP. The Trance just not there in time to keep Villainy alive. So now WGS controlling the point, and when you're WGS here in this situation, this is a great spot to be in, because Spin has the grab, Spear also has the Shatter, and there's no Transcendence up for Milk, and who actually makes a swap onto Ana.
Also, Flora has achieved the Sombra Dream here. They just used EMP last fight. Flora's at 63%. They can conceivably delay here for a while as well as Flora looks to that EMP. So WGS, if they're going to make a comeback, they're well equipped to do so.
O2 now moving here from the high ground, looking to contest, and if O2 gets the flip here, this is the round, so very important fight here, but WGS has an incredible amount of resources.
Well, they're going to open up the Graviton here, trying to just get the solo Brigida pick. Charge going to be coming in towards the end. Sven getting the Brigida pick right on after, so 6-on-5 here at WGS. They built up the EMP mid-fight. Flora just needs to set it on up. They already have a man advantage. The EMP is going to be gratuitous on top, and in fact, they get to save it.
This is actually getting to a very rough position for O2. They don't have beat, they don't have shatter, they don't have bomb. They will also hold on the grab and getting close to the rally, but EMP Shatter more specifically is alive. It's out. It's ready for WGS, and that's been a very deadly combo.
So Flora right now holding on to it, and he's going to be looking at Spear. EMP comes out early. There's a Shatter immediately right after. Proper out of the fight, but comes at cost. Darrow gets isolated by Krong on the back line, but even still, just too much was done by the early opening here. WGS ahead in numbers, soon to be ahead in map score. O2, very little option to bring this back. They do invest in Nano Reinhardt. They start swinging to their heart's content, but WGS, they can simply back out.
I mean, right now the sustain is actually incredibly good for O2 because of the Nano, because of the rally from Pelican. Villainy getting close to that Shatter, and Flora takes up proper. So it's still just sustained for them. Yeah,
they've bought a lot of time, more so than you can expect here for O2 Blast. They're going to eat the grab. Sven's grab out of it. O2 Blast starting to threaten WGS in a way that you would not expect for how this started. Spear, he's built up another Shatter. He's walking forward. They're about to get the kill back.
Oh, no!
The C9 striking when you least expect it.
That is, you know, that was actually the sustain from O2. And also when we look at this player right here, Proper made a great play, recognizing that the EMP was coming out and knowing he had to snipe grab there. Knowing he had to snipe grab there to stop the EMP Shatter from coming out for WGS, wiping them all immediately. But even from then, the sustain was just not enough on point.
Yeah, no, not quite, but still good stuff from Krong there through the fight. You kind of saw it on the replay where you saw the pick off of the Zen and then Krong just like silently moving around point, be like, oh yeah, you guys didn't see anything. And I mean, if they had a chance of winning the EMP fight, that was probably it, right? Getting the early pick off, or I think for him, even forcing Transcendence early if he thought that Transcendence might have been up. But WGS, remember, they did have to readjust with an entirely new roster just about, and they're looking better this week.
They're looking stronger. I think we saw a lot of the Sombra play from them previously, and it seems to be something they're comfortable with using.
Yeah.
So I expect as we move forward throughout the series, the Sombra to come out a lot more from Flora, who I think really the crux of Sombra is, you know, we talked about it again, is getting EMP fast enough. If you can get EMP fast enough, Sombra is a great pick. But if you're getting EMP just too slow and your team doesn't know how to play around it, then it's not the best pick. And when we saw WGS previously playing this composition, they were having a rough time playing around Flora. Flora wasn't getting all the value that they needed out of Sombra. But this map here on Nepal, Flora looked great.
Yep, well, WGS looking good on the rebound. O2, will they complete their descent to the bomb? Will they find life and challenge WGS here? We'll find out in just a few moments. And we're back here with Contenders Korea, where WGS, they have grabbed together a new roster. Again, they've kind of gone for the full MacGyver strategy, much like Second Wind did in North America, but they're making it work.
They are making it work. I mean, the entire roster is new besides Flora. We touched about it earlier, how we had this weird roster transactions between the two, and we've seen it play out here because also remember that, you know, that also Myun and I believe Pelican, yeah, it is Pelican, were from the original WGS and now are on O2, playing against their old team. But WGS, with their whole new roster, are looking pretty solid. They take the first map, they win Nepal, so they are currently 1-0 in the series, above O2.
Yep, and I mean, again, I kind of expect a roller coaster of a series. That's what we just saw there was close enough where even though it was a 2-0 on round score there, I do feel like O2 Blast have been playing well enough to potentially make it interesting as we head on over into Hybrid, which is going to be our next map type. And I mean, really, it's just kind of endemic of what's been going on in Contenders Korea to begin with. Close series, close games, variability. And also, I mean, for WGS, you want to talk variability, compare last week to this week. Already, again, big improvement.
It is. And for WGS, I think right now, when you look at the centric, you know, the most important parts for them that have been working on Nepal as you look forward into the series is Flora, obviously going to be center point for a lot of the play. Going to be seeing a lot of Sombra and Sven, who's had a great performance on Zarya so far.
So Blizzard World is where we're going to be heading off to next. And Blizzard World is an interesting one where, you know, I think as far as hybrid maps go, we've seen more variability on Blizzard World than others where we've seen teams come close to first point holds. We've seen speed runs. It's not quite to the same level that I would argue Gibraltar has been, but you know, it has been growing on me as a map, I would say.
It has been growing on you.
It has.
I think Blizzard World is a map that a lot of people can hate easily. You know, they can, you know, sort of maybe not like, especially I believe last and second. First, like many first points, I think first is actually a relatively well-designed first point. You have a lot of options to approach, but when you get to the other points, people have, you know, issues with the spawns maybe.
Now heading into here, thinking about what we've seen from WGS, especially given the fact that I would argue that even though super high-end Sombra Goats, I feel like, you know, still requires the entire team and the Sombra to be in sync. When you're still dealing with a team that very clearly, you know, has been put together, you know, short notice because of all the different players that they ended up losing, you know, now some that they're up against in this very game, you know, you would think that the Sombra setup here, even if not run to optimal conditions, if Flora can do well and they can just disengage, it's going to be easier to pull off than the standard 3-3, which is still one of the most coordination-heavy compositions in Overwatch history.
I think Blizzard World in particular is a map that can lend itself to the Sombra play, especially for I mean, really all points of the map because of the verticality, because of the ability for you to set up those EMPs. That Flora being on the Sombra here can definitely be a boon to WGS.
And one thing I did like coming out from O2 Blast, even if it didn't fully work out at times, is how aggressively they were trying to deny Flora going into the last map where you'd see Flora go to try and build EMP and just get a diva in his face repeatedly.
And I think that's the right play, though.
Yeah, I think that's how you have to handle it.
As you see, all of O2, they run out of spawn and they look for Flora. They're hunting for Flora. They know that WGS are trying to run this Sombra composition. Flora has been using it a lot. O2, they're running the standard 3-3, but with the Ana, on the Ana. So when you're running the Sombra, you see Ana come out a lot. And you've been seeing Ana more and more anyways, besides the Sombra, just because it gives you that extra sustain, gives you that nano for the first fight, sort of over the Zenyatta.
Well, you can get an early ult advantage with it, and you know, also you're more free with your bio-nades if you're not up against D.Va. You don't have to worry about, you know, just throwing it in a gel direction at your team or otherwise. No! We're going to be coming out there pretty early. WGS keeping O2 back. O2, though, pressing on ahead. Meanwhile, for WGS, remember, they're trying to buy time for Flora to get EMP, and they've almost done it.
Both teams here are just sort of racing the clock for a victory condition for this first fight because O2 Blast currently waiting for the Nano, Flora waiting for the EMP, but Flora is definitely winning this trade war between the EMP build.
This is really nice for WGS so far. They haven't given up a tick on the point yet. Flora almost surprised. EMP is up, and now it's time to go for WGS. EMP going to be invested right as Vulture dies, so it's still a little bit interesting. Villamy down, so is Pelican. 4-4, but O2, they did enough damage. O2 did enough damage. The Ana was healing them, but also they got to pick off right before the EMP hit.
And once again, we have to highlight Proper. Proper for O2 Blast has been a extremely talented Zarya player in the 3-3, and it's very important for O2 there that they had the Ana pick. But the Ana pick allowing them to sustain there. They didn't have to use the Nano to survive. Just able to outlast that EMP. And partially because of that early pick onto Vulture, because when the EMP comes out, there's a lot of focus, Villainy picking up Vulture very early.
Now, if I'm O2, I'm investing even more so here. They've gone to Flora on the D.Va. Maybe it's because they felt the Ana has done a little bit too much, but I think this is a very good omen for O2, and WGS has looked its best on the Sombra.
Here comes the engage, Nano's out.
Nanoboost's gonna be out here early. O2 moving forward off that. Vilni eating a lot of damage, but doesn't really matter. Nanoboost keeping him pretty healthy all within. And it's just an easy walk forward and teamfight victory here for O2. And look at how much you're able to save. It was only the Nano Boost.
Only the Nano Boost. And partially because of the fact that Flora makes that swap from Sombra to D.Va. And since you don't have to worry about getting hacked anymore, you don't have to worry about, you know, taking those, just building EMP, feeding it to Flora, and they know that Flora does not have bomb, it gives Villainy the chance to just walk forward for free. He can't be stopped. There's really only thing that can stop him is CC, and there's no on to sleep him, obviously, so it's the boops, the flails. So huge engage from O2.
So O2 gonna be hanging back here. WGS trying the posture, but for O2, I mean, O2 has a lot of power here. They're gonna open up with the Graviton, set things up here. Self-destruct in reserve should they want combo. They don't go for the combo. Instead, they get Shatter on their side. Villainy and Krong a little bit slow to react as a result. Graviton invested by WGS trying to get Villainy. They do. Now 6-on-5 for WGS as they get the opportunity to start going back forward. And O2, they have to let the foot off the gas a bit.
The Shatter for Spear was so crucial there, denying the combo from even happening. Maybe O2 Blast was waiting to get some of those barriers out, get a little shield presence before they drop the bomb, set it up. But because Spear drops that Shatter, keeps Flora, or no, keeps Krong on the ground, no D.Va Bomb's able to come out there for Proper's grab. Though something to note is that Proper is already at 65% to another.
Now, let me ask you this. I mean, we have seen teams even in the Overwatch League decide to stand Ana here. Do you think O2 Blast is going to stand the Ana if the next push fails?
I mean, so far, I would not be surprised at all, especially considering how well that their Ana play has been on Blizzard World. We've been seeing teams just make it much more popular, but I think after this Nano comes out, I think the swap happens.
Oh. Young going to be holding on here, dropping Nano on the Villainy. Villainy moving forward. Earth Shatter ready, and he's getting too much value. Just isolates people to the left, gonna drop the Shatter. Chelrong out of the fight. O2 Blast working with a significant edge here. Even Krong being down. Self-destruct invested here by WGS. They try and hold on instead. Graviton coming out, and they decide they want to win it. They use Transcendence to try and mitigate a bit, but they're still so low. They're
the ante.
Spear. Yeah, too good.
The ante was so strong there, ZP. Right there, it looked like it could have been a one fight from that counter grab from Spin, but the huge nade from Yon means that Spin and Spear can't clean it up, and Villainy is just able to get those frags.
Meanwhile, O2, they're just going to continue the move forward here. Spear going to get staggered, and WGS losing footing and certainly losing momentum as O2, they get through point B very quickly. 3.5 minutes to get into the end.
Now O2 getting second, moving forward here, coming close to another Nano, going to be building up towards the beat as well. Proper, very far ahead in the grab game, and I've talked about it before, but I really think Proper is an extremely important piece here for O2. A consistent performer. See WGS move forward. Looking to contest, probably going to use Rally here to set up this engage.
Proper also a player that's definitely improved over time after having moments of shakiness in the past. But now again, Nano Boost on the Villainy. It's been the game plan here for O2 Blast repeatedly, but that was not part of the plan. The Shatter from Spear from the other side, easily cleaning up the fight here for WGS.
And now I wouldn't be surprised to see O2 make the swap. They use the Nano, but it looks like they might still be sticking with the Ana here.
And if they were going to be swapping off the Ana, this would be the perfect time, right? They just use Nano Boost. They know the other side is on D.Va.
Oh, there
and,
it is.
There it is. Yeah, that makes sense. I think the only reason why there wasn't a swap earlier is that they were winning fights. They were still in Ana. They were close to another Nano. They just kept riding.
But even with that Shatter from Spear, Proper still ahead in the grab game over Spin. There's the grab out from Proper again.
Graviton gonna be out here early. Self-destruct. The other side. A lot of pressure on the Ryan shield here. Villainy shield gone and done with. Look at that, Spear didn't have a Shatter in reserve as WGS buying some pretty significant time.
But O2 winning the shield war still right now. They're winning the poke war. They're forcing them back. Their cooldowns have been better staggered. And they're getting a lot of free cart right here. But WGS already come back in, ready for those cooldowns to come back up.
Now they're going to take the fight directly to WGS, and they force out the barrier immediately. Shatter coming down right after, going to be knocking down 2. Villainy looking for the pickoffs off. And Ultra, though, somehow they'll survive, but even not the case. Spear down, O2, up 2 men here. And now this is getting very difficult for WGS. Flora going to get staggered as well. I'm not sure they can really fight this back at this point.
And Spin's sort of throwing the Hail Mary grab there in that scenario, recognizing how far behind they were in the poke where you see WGS moving in, trying to set it up. Spear has that Shatter, does not get anything from it. Well, it gets Krong on the ground.
Graviton can be with us here, O2 Blast. They're just trying to finish this out here and now. Transcendence from WGS, though, keeping them reasonably healthy. It's working out for WGS. You see Chorong able to take down Villainy. Man advantage on WGS have somehow fought this back. O2 Blast on the verge of getting pushed out, and that's it. They have to back out.
It was definitely partially from the later Transcendence from Darrow. Darrow just keeps everyone alive there for longer, keeps WGS in the fight. So great re-engage for WGS. O2 Blast gonna have to come back in here. Villainy close to the shatter, but definitely not a fight winner unless we're able to set up the bash. And this is getting close to last fight territory, by the way.
Speaking of setting up the bash, Pelican was thinking about it there, off on the side, hoping that perhaps WGS would have gone a little bit further up, but they're just holding back on payload.
And really, as we look for this engage, this is last fight. Yeah. We've gone to last fight territory. The teams are poking. Villainy is waiting to build that shadow proper, trying to get that grab. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the bash try to set up here. Flora has the bomb here as well.
They're keeping Flora under very heavy pressure. WGS in a constant state of retreat. Now that's pressure onto the shields. O2, they know it. Rally's gonna be invested. And they don't quite turn the corner here just yet. They give WGS time to recover. They throw in the grab regardless. WGS stuck over there. Villainy, though, down as they try and fall up. WGS fighting this back somewhat evenly here. Bomb back on the payload. Transcendence about to fade, and now Transcendence faded. The Graviton, it's pulled them all in. Spear, though, out of the fight. O2 using the beat to still stay alive. But WGS, they're not done either. Bear gonna be invested. Respawn's coming back in. We are in full overtime. It's a final moment here. An emergency Hammond coming on in. It sets up for the kill on the Vulture. The Hammond at the last moment. The swap actually does a lot of work as O2 Blast should be in a winning position now.
This should be a winning position. There's no one up alive. There's no ults available for WGS as Proper builds another grab. The O2 Blast backline, especially Mondu, was so crucial there. He has a perfect beat to keep them alive after that Transcendence ends, to keep them in the fight. It keeps everyone up. It was perfectly timed. And allows time for Villainy to come back on the Hammond. Proper just building grab at an alarming rate. You see Villainy, he does try to fall up there. He tries to drop the shatter and dies for it. And right now we're watching this fight, and you see as the trance ends, there's the grab, the bomb is out, and then the simultaneously the beat allowing for the cleanup on Spear.
Very much good stuff for O2 to pull that back even after a tough start where WGS, it was unexpected to see WGS hop on out and actually get back into a fight with how things started, given the early pickoffs they'd suffered, but there is, of course, an advantage being right by your spawn door, and they were able to delay for just enough time. And being able to drain the opposition down to zero, still potentially paying big dividends, where now WGS looking to the attack of their own, and they're able to finish things out with over a minute left on the clock. This map likely going to be theirs, and it would continue the slide for O2 Blast.
But Blizzard World is definitely not a map that you always full cap on.
And certainly not with over a minute.
You see also O2 Blast rolling on here with the Ana again. Ana has been, as we've talked about, has seen a lot more resurgence in play, especially if you're expecting to play against the Sombra. But even not against the Sombra, here on the defense in particular, Ana just gives the defensive players, the defensive team, an ability to just play for Nano, in a sense. Start rolling out on that. WGS going to be playing Flora on the Sombra, unless they see the comp and swap, but I imagine that Flora will probably be playing Sombra.
If I'm WGS, given, I mean, their 3-3 actually looks surprisingly decent there from what I was expecting. I thought they'd be using the Sombra a little bit more, but honestly, I would be sticking to the Sombra even here. I think that, you know...
Well,
again,
they won't.
Oh, well. Why do you think they swapped? Do you think it's the Ana?
It's the Ana. It's the Ana. 100% the Ana. They don't want to play the Sombra into it. If you're walking in here and you can't eat nades in particular, since the defense holds the high ground, but that sleep onto Flora, that means the engage happens. The ante's out. Flora's anteed anyways.
Yeah, and the Flora's still priority #1 here. So the Bio Nade not going to be eaten, but now too, they do invest quite a bit. They end up getting off the high ground. Now they have to retreat back to point. So for WGS, it's still not the worst opening.
It's not the worst, but now we're in a situation where they're currently still building up Nano for O2.
They're looking to isolate Villainy there, but the support comes back in. Villainy totally fine. And again, a big Bio Nade in the back. Sven can't be healed. It hits Darrow and Vulture. WGS, again, if O2 had just chased that down, that could have turned very ugly for them.
So now we see O2 still holding, and look at the Nano percentage ZP. You know, 90% Flora currently asleep again. Is he going to go for another nade, get a huge nade, and then engage with the ante? Probably not, but this Nano's going to come out very, very soon.
Nano boot's going to be out here from Young, and again, where's it go to? It goes to Villainy. He's going to get boot back, though. Good displacement here as WGS does not want to wrestle with Villainy. Probably second on the list after Jeff himself, if I had to guess.
Great disengage from WGS, though. They did have to invest in the rally, but able to get away from the nano.
So now WGS moving back in. They don't have to worry about the nano this time, but you know, you have to worry about the grab. They get caught by the grab, they transcend in return, but it's not enough to keep up Spirit. Was he bionaded?
He was bionaded.
Yeah, he got hit by a bionade, so all right, you still have to eat the bionade in that situation. You have to protect the transcendence, and so far, Flora really hasn't been able to do a very good job of that.
And it makes sense why I think that, you know, it seems so far why they're trying to stick to a lot of Sombra compositions, because Flora has not been dealing with these nades very well.
No, it doesn't seem to be a priority to him to eat the bionades is what it comes down to. I mean, okay, Myun might be a great support, but there's a limit to what you should be getting away with. It's more in the D.Va's favor to stop it.
WGS, though, after that exchange, they do have 5 ults coming up. They do have that combo coming up. And there's not going to be a grab for Proper, who did invest it for that engage for WGS. So this is their opening. This is their opening. They need to look to try to set it up. Vulture's already close to that rally as well, so they really need to look to engage on that front line, set up the grab here for Sven.
WGS is set it up. So we'll see if Flora is able to eat the bionade this time. Graviton can be used here. Early on, Flora gets hit by the nade early. Self-destruct out. Or should be able to remake. Vulture out of the fight though. O2 Blast still fighting this back. They deal the Graviton well. They're up 2. Now they just get to rotate over and push WGS out. And they're down to what could be their final attempt.
And that was also another great defensive shatter from Villainy, able to just catch Spear there, who had been off on the side. Clean up that frag. And if you're WGS, just like we were talking about, this is grim. You don't have combo. You don't have beat. You don't have rally. And look at Beyond, he's hiding. We've seen this before from Anas on this map defensively. He's going to look for the nade. Going to look for a sleep as well, potentially, then set up the nano.
Flora sniffed it out. But, okay, well, he
drops
the sleep dart, but now he's open for the bionade here, potentially.
No, he'll move,
okay.
He'll rotate.
Oh, shatter from the side, in from Villainy.
No, from Spear.
Or, sorry, in from Spear on the other end, and, okay, it's going to be 2 immediately off that for WGS, and finally, off the flank from Spear, it's exactly what they need.
That was a really smart read from WGS, unless I'm just overestimating them, because they see that Beyond has to rotate from Flora's pressure, and O2 are pressured to look for him and to peel for him, and they just go all the way around the other side and set up the shadow for Spear.
Well, it means for WGS that they still have time left here, even though it's only 2.5 minutes, O2 burning a lot off of point A. But the interesting thing here is that if I'm O2, I don't even swap off the Ana at this point.
You have Nano still, right?
Yeah, well, not only having the Nano, but just, you look at how Flora just hasn't been able to deny bionades.
Now O2 moving forward here, trying to set up this first engage. Proper does have the grab, and the grab is out.
Graviton's out.
That's for Sven, though.
Only holding on to the Nano here. We see Proper out of the fight pretty early. Now it's 5-on-5.
Charge out. Villainy taking the charge. Nothing really coming out of it. Vulture, the anti-nade's out, but it's over. WGS have won the fight. They just got a lot more value. Sven, I don't think the grab was great, especially when Nano is up, because you can use Nano as a defensive tool there, especially if you can just catch the Rhine. But WGS's overall engage, their focus fire, it's sort of the benefit of this in there as well, where you can just get so much more value.
So WGS winning a fight that they really need to. I mean, only a minute and a half left. If O2 Blast wins next fight, WGS is going to find themselves in that unenviable position of having to win no matter what, where the map is over. So see how O2 sets up for now on the high ground, and you got to think they're looking for combo.
Also, O2, as we see now, has swapped to that Zenyatta. There's the grab out for Proper. Is Krong going to use the bomb?
Yep, bomb's going to be layered in. It's going to be a little bit later.
That's Flora's bomb.
Yeah, Flora's bomb. No, they both use bomb in the fight, and Flora's bomb just gets more.
A lot more. That was a great defensive bomb from Flora.
So, Flora
getting 3. 4? Wow. Flora cleaning up there. I didn't even see where was Krong's bomb in front or behind? I didn't even see where Krong's bomb landed.
I think he tried to layer it in over the top there, and it just, for whatever reason, it was a misfire otherwise, because he definitely was going for the combo, but he was also late in the attempt.
So now O2 looking to hold last. They will have beat, we'll have rally, we'll have the shatter. Flora making the swap onto the Sombra for last, which I think is actually a relatively smart play, considering that Myeon is on the Zen right now. There's no on the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's a direct response to Myeon no longer being on Ana. I think at this point, that much is very, very clear. You can see the rally come in here from O2 Blast, taking the fight to WGS, going, hey, you're running Sombra Comp. We can run into you. WGS try and save it. Oh, Spear! Once more with the shatter, cleaning house. Onto O2 Blast. Villainy gonna fall here. The rest of O2 Blast trying to retreat. And guess what? The Graviton's gonna be invested. Questionable is whether or not that was super necessary. It does let everyone else build ult, but it does mean Sven's not gonna have grab for the next fight.
He won't have grab, but more importantly, it does give Flora the chance to continue to build EMP. And Flora's at 80% already. 0 support ults up for O2. Beyond making the swap on Ana as Proper comes out of spawn and grabs, just catches Sven, who was looking for the spam.
Yeah, he's looking for the spam. And O2, they're just looking for a man advantage wherever they can get it, and they're gonna chase on forward. So it definitely throws WGS for a loop, and now WGS are under enormous time pressure because realistically, they have to move. It's only 50 seconds left, and they need to finish with at least 1 second left on the clock. Or no, it doesn't matter actually in this case.
Yeah, we are on
they
we're
just
on the
have to finish, period. So it's the other side where O2, they've bought enough time.
They have enough time. The EMP is available. Spear, he slept. Are they gonna go for? They have to know they're looking for Shatter. They are. Look at the bubble. Look at the presence. There's the Shatter now from Villainy.
Down on the floor, Prong able to take down Spear. O2 continuing with heavy pressure, and WGS, they're gonna be down to their final fight, and might not even be a good one.
That sleep, Mion has just been getting so much value on the Ana versus the Sombra. That sleep onto Spear, you see that both teams is sort of do the poke war there, do the dance, because WGS knew that Villainy is looking for the Shatter, and eventually he gets it off, sets it up. So this is last fight. This is last fight for WGS. They have to win it. The EMP is up.
Or hang on to EMP. Through the translocator, quite a ways away. It's going to be a slightly longer until he's able to set up. And okay, that's pretty far up right now from Spear. Covered by the EMP, but they have to transcend just to keep Spear alive. Now, off the EMP, use it, get down proper. O2 now desperately trying to disengage, make this still winnable. Buy time for spawns to come back in, but it's an overtime. Spawns are slower. WGS might have just gained an unsurmountable edge. As you take a look, they still have Shatter and Grab in reserve.
They have Shatter, Grab, but also the combos are out for O2. But O2's gonna have to touch. Can they even touch?
No, they can't get there in time.
Sven's Grab denying it. Flora being huge there. That swap, not only getting the EMP, despite that early nano, but keeping the continuous hack on a Krong, making sure that he could not bomb, making sure he could not eat any damage. So Flora getting a lot of value there at the EMP at the end, and we've tied up. It's 3-3 for both. Completed an OT, so a minute.
So we are going to be going into extra rounds here. Both teams needing every second they could get to complete on the attack. So both going to be ending up with 1 minute. And I mean, you think about how the first attacks went and also the adjustments we've seen. This very well could be draw territory, where it's not too uncommon for Blizzard World when you end up in these 3-3 situations.
It is possible, as we are going to see WGS on the defense first here. Looking to potentially run the Sombra on the defense, and it's a very risky play, right? Because if you lose first fight because you don't have a Sombra, you're essentially committing to like, okay, we'll win the next, we have EMP. But with a minute, losing first, just losing first at all is a rough thing to do with a minute.
Well, the other problem here, too, is that O2 has been very willing to just sort of go Ana and see if that's the right move later. If I'm WGS, I would have opened up with D.Va here if their mindset is that they don't want to play Sombra into the Ana. But Flora going to be coming here to the Sombra, and O2 out with what they see as a favorable counter comp.
O2 moving up here on the offense. Going to be looking to take a very aggressive fight again, I imagine. Try to move them from the high ground. Because O2 doesn't have as much to fear. While Flora's on the D.Va, they know they can just look for value for Mion and the Ana. They can look for these extended fights as well because they're going to be building towards Nano. And with this rotation, they've already... This is last fight now with this rotation. It is last fight.
And they've gotten a lot of progress here with Flora only at 30%. They can just pressure the point heavily, but I think right now they'd rather just get into WGS's face. And they get Dayro off the very aggressive opening here. So not only are they likely to get point A quickly, even as we go into overtime, this could be a very
And Flora's down.
Yeah.
And look at WGS. Look at their position. Now they have to come back to recontest the point that they own.
Well, they're not going to own it for a whole lot longer. And, you know, I think the scary part here is that it's going to take about a fight and a half, maybe, for Flora to get an EMP. They're committed to the EMP strategy at this point. And O2, they're going to be getting tremendous amounts of payload push in the meanwhile.
That is the risk you run when you play the Sombra, is that if you're not building that EMP fast enough, you're not getting hacks as well, value hacks, especially against the Ana. So you run into that fight where they can not only be extremely aggressive against you, but the Nano will be up very soon for Mion. And the Nano means that you can keep Villainy alive. When the EMP is up, you can keep Villainy alive. And that's the most important part for their play here.
So O2 going to be on the payload. WGS again, pressuring a little bit, but really just waiting for Flora to get EMP. Maybe an advantageous hack, but truly EMP has to be the solution here.
It is up.
Yep. So that's gonna be simple. They have the nano going up. Flora gonna answer directly with the EMP, but it doesn't matter. It's too late. O2 Blast has done way too much damage with the nano Reinhardt. Villainy falls, but the damage has been done.
And this is doomsday scenario for WGS. You've gotten the EMP up, and just what happened right there to see O2. They know the EMP is looking. They're looking for the EMP there for WGS. They use the nano, offensively, proactively to keep Villainy up, to keep the offense power alive. Also set up proper.
Well, the nano is also really good in that situation too, because okay, you can't use abilities, but do you really want to push into a nano boost Reinhardt? Not really.
And Spin still does not have grab here. Something to note, Spin does not have grab still. So O2, they're going to have to look to be aggressive before Spin gets this grab up. They should know that. The rally's out. It's sustaining them on point, but they're going to get anything out of it.
They're diving in right now. They know Flora's slept. They have a window of opportunity, but oh, Spear drops the shatter from behind, puts O2 Blast completely on the ground. And that should be the payload stopping here, but this is a push that if you're O2, you are immensely happy with.
Yeah, that was a great flank shatter for Spear, but, too little too late, because you lost not only first with a minute, but it got it almost to second in the OT.
So, heading into this next open engagement, I would be surprised if we saw Flora go into anything but the Diva, where I have to give it to O2 Blast, where the Ana setup, I mean, we've mentioned some of the reasons why teams like going Ana, and, one of the big reasons is, of course, that Bionades, you don't have to worry about the Diva, but I did like how O2 handled the Nano Boost there, where they clearly read that the EMP was coming. They throw the Nano Boost onto the Rhine, and they just go, okay, you guys want to push after an EMP? Good luck.
It's extremely valuable against an EMP because it makes your Ryan's job of surviving much easier, and it makes him a lot scarier because generally when you EMP, the other Ryan's is going to look to walk over you. But when you don't have a nano, you can't really walk over him.
I just saw a thing about Death Wings there, and I just feel like it brought back bad memories for Wolf, who could be in chat, where, Wolf and Achilleos, of course, they're up in the Overwatch League now, still faithfully watch Contenders, but they've had really mixed experiences with Wings in the California area right now.
We have seen that before.
They don't feel like they've gotten good value. But maybe the Death Wings, those would be valuable.
Wings is a touchy subject in that household. It's a touchy
really
subject.
is.
As you see, O2 have moved here onto the Ana again for the defense. Flora looking to run the Sombra here. And it's a dangerous game unless they choose to go this out and swap back to Diva again, which they did before. But the thing is, that's valuable time off the clock if they're going to swap after that.
Well, at this point, again, why wouldn't you just assume that Myun's going to be on the Ana? We've seen it enough here.
And they're not making the swap, which means that this approach is going to be a lot harder. O2 running the Ana here. So this setup right now favors the Ana, especially with all the time that O2 have.
Well, particularly also, when you think about it here for WGS, they only have a minute to get this payload rolling, and even under the best Sombra conditions, it's not super likely. I mean, you have to be playing Doha level just out of your mind, and Flora's nowhere close to being on pace for an EMP.
See, Villainy getting a little low. Darrow slept though, so no damage currently out. Great sleep. Villainy has the shatter very early.
Well, they were able to use the Bionade to heal him up super rapidly in the middle of that. He was able to throw damage back as he was getting dove. Now, Flora, on the meanwhile, almost has the EMP. O2 Blast needs to take this fight sooner rather than later. The EMP is going to be heading straight their way. Villainy dropping the shatter. Knocks down Flora. If they could get Flora, that's going to be it. Darrow down. It's still an advantage to O2 Blast, but they can win 5-on-6 with a good EMP here. Flora still hanging on to it. Going to look to drop it. And
catches five.
He catches 5.
But the Nano's still out in time on a Villainy, who's just cleaning up.
Yeah, the Nano was still well timed. The Nano means that O2 Blast doesn't care, and the Nano Boost is ruining good EMP engages. Really well done from Young.
And I think also just partially, that was a great shatter here from Villainy is what we're going to see it again. Catching 3 on the ground, allowing O2 to get those frags. It was almost enough for Flora's counter EMP there to come back in and get the 5. But Mion had the Nano up in time. The Nano is such a great, especially when there's no follow-up, there's no counter ult for the Sombra team, for the team that is running that Sombra. The Nano keeps your Rhine alive and allows him to be so powerful in that fight.
And I'm trying to think here. I mean, we've been pretty good about watching just about everything Overwatch related, if it's OWL, NA, or KR. But in terms of Overwatch League proper, even NA, have we seen teams deny EMP with this sort of on-timing Nano to this extent?
I think so. I think so. I mean, we can look at Titans. I think Titans.
Okay.
I think Titans are a very good example of playing against Sombra and Twilight on the Ana.
Okay.
And Twilight, but I mean, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's good though, right? Because they're currently, you know, the undefeated team in Overwatch League. So I think that when you look at a team and you compare their denial of Sombra play with Ana, and you can look at the Titans as a comparison, that's only good if you're WG or if you're O2, I should say.
Very much so. But guys, we're gonna go to break. Is he tied up 1-1? What's the result gonna be? We'll find out in just a moment.